a full house for Detroit Sports Plus today. Check us out.
Gentlemen, how are
Hi,
we?
Ian. Good to see you again. Ken,
Glad to
welcome
be here.
back.
It's very crowded.
Pleasure to be here.
Very crowded.
Yeah, pleasure to be
I'm
here.
not sure.
table's not big enough?
I'm not sure I'm going to be able to talk enough.
Absolute honor to be with you today, gentlemen.
So good to see you. Good to be seen. And thank you for joining us here on DSP along with Derek, Ian, and Ken. I'm Hobie. And we said it's a crowded house up here right now, but it's not a crowded house in the AL Central for the Tigers, despite what happened over the weekend getting
No, it's
swept
a single-family
by the
home.
Mariners. Well, right now
They went on vacation a little early.
They
It's fine.
did. They did. A chance to get to 60 wins, but the Tigers were not able to get there after they lost 3 to the Mariners. What would you say is the most disappointing thing about going into the All-Star break like that?
The bullpen. I mean,
Yep.
we had like some concerns about the back end, but now it's starting to get a little bit more alarming because Tommy Kahnle was that lockdown guy for so long, and now the last few outings have just been disastrous. So it's starting to look like more and more of a need.
Yeah, I wish I could say something different, but it's the bullpen. The bullpen has been kind of teetering there. You had Kahnle and Vest have kind of been the guy, but you knew you needed to add somebody. This really exposed that like they have to add somebody, or this team. I mean, they're still going to be good. They're still the best team in baseball right now, but you're not going to win playoff series with that bullpen currently.
I feel like they're just kind of going into the All-Star break looking for they need a break. Like it's been a heck of a first half of the year, and I feel like we see this in sports a lot. Like some good teams just take their foot off the pedal, like heading into a break like this. So I'm not putting too much stock into it, but I guess we'll see what they look like when they come back. But not too concerned.
And not a terrible stretch whenever they come out of the All-Star break. It's the Rangers who are hovering around 500, and then the Pirates who they saw a couple of weeks ago. But then they have the Blue Jays who are the #1 team in the AL East. But like Ken said, at this point in time, it's a long baseball season, and this team has won 59 games. Is there any cause for concern? I know you say the bullpen, but Riley Green playing the way he is right now. Can other guys get healthy? Kerry Carpenter dealing with an injury. We see Parker Meadows continue to take steps. I mean, any concerns aside from that bullpen?
I mean, my concern overall is at like a 2, right, out of 10. I mean, you can't have no concerns because there are clear holes that need to be patched at some point, and we really haven't seen Scott Harris have to do that yet. So it's not a 0, but like you said, this is the best record in baseball. A 4-game losing streak over 162 is absolutely nothing, and the Mariners are playing really good ball right now. Like, I honestly think this weekend was more about the Mariners than it was about the Tigers. So, they needed a break. It came at a good time for them, but the concern is super low for me.
Yeah, I'm not really concerned beyond they lost 4 games. It's baseball. There's a lot of games, and they're gonna lose. And the fact that it took them this long to lose 4 in a row says more about the rest of the season than it probably does this weekend. So I'm not concerned at all. I do think it kind of just reiterates what we already knew. There are some pieces they definitely have to acquire to move on to get over this hump. But in the long run, it's just a couple games.
That's all I got, man.
Just a couple of games.
Just a couple of
Just
games.
a couple of games.
That's all, just a couple of games.
But last year at this time, people were wondering, okay, are the Tigers going to start selling pieces off? And I think that has completely changed over the course of a year. Looking at, we'll get to talking about the All-Star game because this team does have 6 players playing in the All-Star game, which is incredible.
And the bad boy.
And yes, let's not forget about Frankie. Cannot forget about Frankie. But so they're sending 7 people to Atlanta. I think that's also indicative of how far this team has come this season. But looking at the trade deadline, if you are Scott Harris and you're looking to make a deal, what is the one thing that you have to do? Because we say, it's disappointing to go into the All-Star break like this, but no concern. But if you want to make a run at a World Series, you might need some help. But where does that begin?
It's funny because all season, if you would have asked me this, I probably would have said a power-hitting right-handed bat. But now I think that's 3rd on my list. I honestly think, number 1, I still think they need like an innings-eating type starting pitcher, somebody who can go into the middle of the rotation and just reliably keep the Tigers in the game. But the back-end bullpen stuff, and I hate to say it because those guys are going to be super expensive. There aren't going to be many sellers this year. Every single contender needs at least one reliever. So they're always overpriced, but it really does seem like the Tigers need one more piece.
Yeah, I agree they need a piece. I don't know that there's that guy out there who I want them that is available, and also I want them to go get. I'm worried that whoever they're going to get, they're going to way overpay for,
Yeah.
and we're going to say this guy wasn't worth it. And they're just everybody who's been kind of talked about are minor upgrades. I mean, I'm not a huge David Bednar guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't excite me. Whatever we're going to have to give up for him really doesn't excite me. And he's just going to be another version of what we already have.
Right.
It's not like, okay, Aroldis Chapman or Alex Bregman. When the Red Sox were kind of falling away, I was like, okay, there's a team we need to go get pieces off of. I don't know that the team's there. There's so many teams within like a couple games of the wild card. There's you just have a couple teams out there, and there aren't exciting pieces.
It's hard for me to accept the thought that the Tigers would trade like Hao-Yu Lee, who you had for 6 years, for someone like David Bednar, and then he maybe pitches 2 innings in the postseason,
right.
and it's like, what did we even do this?
Right.
It's not like the Tigers need to make moves to get to the playoffs.
No.
All they have to do is tread water for the next 3 months.
Right.
So it's the Tigers have the luxury of being able to look at their roster and be like, okay, what does this roster need to look like when we get to the postseason? That's why I don't think they need to get a great starting pitcher, because in the playoffs you really only need 3 starting pitchers.
Right.
They need a guy who's just going to get them to that finish line, and maybe it's with a bye, maybe not. But the number one priority should be, once the playoffs start, okay, Skubal, Mize, Flaherty probably, and then what does the rest of the starting or the entire pitching staff look like in a short series?
Right.
I think another question, what you brought up, the price. What is the most, if you are the Tigers, that you'd be willing to give up? Whenever the way you've constructed this roster, everybody feeds off of each other, and any night can be a different guy's night. At what price are you paying to like maybe mess up chemistry versus will it pay off in the long run? And I say long run by meaning deep postseason run.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a little bit of a different mentality when it comes to this. I don't like to blow all the prospects to take one big swing at the apple, because what if they go all in this season and then Riley Green gets hurt or Tarek Skubal gets hurt and then they don't win the World Series and they ruined the next few years. I think the Tigers are focused on getting to the playoffs or being in the playoff hunt for the next several years, and then hoping that that quantity gets them in. So I'm not trading Max Clark, I'm not trading McGonigal, I'm not trading Arsenio, I'm probably not even trading Bryce Rayner. Those guys are non-starters to me, and maybe if you get lower down on the prospect list, you can start talking about some guys, but I just don't think the Tigers are going to mortgage the future.
And I don't think there's the guy out there to go get. If the guy was out there, I maybe feel a little bit different, because they have so many pieces. I don't want to give up any of those pieces for anybody we've been talking about being available.
For a non-guarantee.
Exactly. Yeah. You're not getting somebody long-term. You're not getting somebody who's a guaranteed upgrade. I mean, if you're going to move any of those pieces, this needs to be a guaranteed upgrade. I haven't heard a name that's a guaranteed upgrade to me.
Yeah, I'd love to see the Tigers find a way to get a Merrill Kelly from the Diamondbacks if they're willing to sell. Maybe Eugenio Suarez is part of that deal if the Diamondbacks decide to sell.
The reverse of all this is, if the roster stays put where it is, can this team win a World Series?
Yes, they can.
They can.
They're the best team in baseball with this roster currently. They objectively can win a World Series. They could make it a lot easier on themselves and give themselves more room for error if they added, sure. But as it's constructed, they're good enough.
I just hope they're aggressive. If there's a deal on the table that can make them closer to World Series, winners, do something, you know what I mean? Because we've just seen it so many times where we have a team and there's a window, and that final move that kind of puts you over the hump move doesn't get made, and then or another team makes that move. Yeah. And then we're like, oh man,
should
how
have
did
done
they make
it.
that move?
Yeah.
Or,
The 2011 to 2014 Tigers notoriously ignored the bullpen every single year, and that did end multiple of their playoff runs. So I think Tigers fans probably feel exactly the same.
Yeah.
Learn from your history and move on to make some more history.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, Hobie.
You like that? You like that?
Getting philosophical here on
There
DSP.
we go. Another thing that a lot of Tigers fans like, seeing 6-player All-Stars and a bat boy going to the All-Star game in Atlanta. We'll discuss what that means for this team, and Tarek Skubal getting the start this year after not getting it last year. What do we hope to see? More on that coming up on DSP.